beautiful. Is God doing some things in your life? I think we better give it up. All I've been through, maybe it's the one I'm standing here. Amen. So if I get a little emotional sometimes, just back up and let me have my space, because you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what's in my alabaster box, so you don't understand. That's why domestic violence, when she called me about this, I had to think about it for a minute, because when I go back through my life and remember what I came through, it's not easy to revisit. Do you understand that? So you're looking at me and you think it was all good, don't you? Yeah, but I can tell you some things. I can make you cry this morning for me, but I don't even want to do that because I'm not crying for myself. If I hadn't been through certain things in my family, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. Is that all right? That's the same thing with you, because if it's 1 out of every 4, that means when I look at these tables, somebody in this room knows a little something about it too. Is that right? 1 out of 4 is a ridiculous number. And we need to work to change that. I was looking, and she read off most of the statistics that I was going to read, but I was looking further into the internet, and I saw where it said that it cost the government $727 million in lost productivity for domestic violence. And we're running around, not able to feed the homeless, not able to give them second chances to get out into the world, because we're spending money on ridiculous domestic violence. Now, when you stop and think about that for a moment, it can really make your mind wonder. We shouldn't have anybody over here without work. We can just put them in a building and let them sit there until somebody comes through that door, one of the 4 women needing some help. We can put them to work with $727 million. When I look at what it costs your life to be a part of domestic violence, I get angry. It's a woman's story, so I guess I have to go into some of my story. I grew up in Mississippi, where I think we're just angry on GP down there. Just mad for no reason. Because we've been through so much as a people. Mississippi is still oppressed, repressed, depressed, recessed. It's still that way. In our classroom, the whites still sit on the right side and the blacks still sit on the left. We get adjusted. We ain't at the back no more. But we're on one side. We still have 2 proms. Yeah. Do you understand that? We still have 2 proms. Which is ridiculous. But still, I go into just all of the stuff that Mississippi deals with, and our issues which are relevant today, our issues have caused so much pain. So, growing up, I had, the perfect family, everybody thought. So did I. Until I started to stay with my aunt sometimes, because my mom was working 3 jobs. That job as a teacher making $6,000 a year just wasn't cutting it. You understand? Yeah. $6,000 for the year. Every now and then I'm going to throw you a nugget because I want you to hear what I'm saying. So she had to work 3 jobs, so I had to be bouncing around sometime, and I had to stay with the aunties, and they were married, or so I thought. That just couldn't be a good marriage, seeing the stuff that I had seen. Don't get me wrong now, I've heard the stories that are worse than mine, but I've seen some things. I've seen one of my relatives beat with the butt of a gun and laid on the floor left for dead and told us to sit there and be quiet. I've seen it. I've seen the woman catch the man cheating, or, we don't see that part, but I've seen that, and instead of her being able to kill him, he's backing her in a corner to leave her for dead, to say, you don't know, I already married you. So don't you know that once a man gets what he wants, he's on to something else? Don't you ever challenge me with what I do. So as a 7-year-old, I'm listening to this and experiencing this, and now in this part of my life of being grown, not now, but at a period in my life of being grown, I remember those things. So it took me a while to be able to date even. After you've seen that, you don't want to date that. You don't want to be a part of that. You don't even understand that. So it causes you to walk in a silence that you don't share with anyone, because you don't exactly know if they'll understand why you feel the way you feel. I've been to my girlfriend's house when she's sleeping in a closet, because after her father finishes beating her mother, he looks for her. I've seen my best friend be molested on a regular basis by her biological father. That I'm not understanding that when he's being nice to me. luring me in closer to try to do the same thing to me. But never telling my mother, because my mother would be what? In prison today. Let me get ghetto for her, but she would have killed that man if he had done something like that to me. So domestic violence bothers all of us, because while she's going through her silent pain, so are we trying to help her on the slide and not tell people that, wait, her mom is going through all kinds of stuff at home, and then it trickles down to her. This is why she's failing in school. We can't tell her about it because she's afraid. We're afraid that if we do tell, now we're causing more pain to her than we should have. Domestic violence affects everybody. It affects each and every one of us because we're connected some way to each other. Do you understand that?
That's true.
See, just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not going to affect you. Because the person that you meet that is going through it, if you turn the deaf ear to me and you saw me going through it and you did nothing about it, you won't do anything for the next one either. Now we're back to 1 out of 4 being involved in domestic violence. Saying nothing and doing nothing has caused $727 million worth of issues for this government. And yet I think we quadrupled that in homeless or unemployed. I don't know all the exact numbers, but we got this problem over here because this problem exists because we won't say anything. We won't do anything about it. It trickles over to the workplace because when you come to work and your mind is shuddering because you're thinking about, okay, I didn't iron this shirt right, so when I get home, this ain't gonna go good. And I got this report that's due by the end of the week, and I don't even have my statistics to put all of my data together, so it's not going to be right. Now, what do I do? And then your boss is saying, okay, I expect this by deadline, and then your girlfriend sitting over here saying, why ain't you got this part ready? I can't do my part till your part is ready. But you're sitting in silence and you've said nothing, so nobody knows what you're going through. You've now affected the production of what we're doing. You're the missing link, but yet you can't tell me why you're missing. You're part of the equation. Domestic violence affects everybody. Now I'm going to take it on to a personal piece so you understand what my personal story is, and then I'll get out of your way. When I was singing professionally, traveling around the world, meeting all kinds of people, you meet some psychos, boy. You meet some real psychos. And I think you need to hear me deeply when I say that. Some psychotic people on this road. So every year I travel for long periods of time, then I take some time off and come home so that I can, rest a little bit, because after one tour after the next, you get tired. And I may be home at that time 10 days out of the year. So what I would do was I would turn my phone off, because I'm thinking, well, I don't need to be paying a phone bill. Y'all know how we do. We make arrangements. Y'all know what we're talking about? We'll have a $300 hairdo and we'd have made arrangements on the light bill. You know what I mean? Well, in an effort not to have to make many arrangements, I would turn it on because it wasn't necessary. So when I get home, not like today where they can just flip a switch. Back then they had to come out, I think, time to wives, do whatever. So it took about 3 days to get your phone back on. You know what I mean? Oh, no, one? Okay, I was. So my phone was off, and this guy that I have been dating, or going out with, let me say. Now, I just got out of a bad relationship. And I met him through some friends. Lord, be careful who you call friend. Amen. But I had met him through some people, and he and I were going out quite a bit. It was going great. I really didn't have a whole lot. But I saw some things. Women, y'all know what I mean? You see some things that we shove under the rug and say, maybe he didn't mean to. Maybe that's not exactly what. Maybe I just misunderstood. Y'all know how we do that? And then we wonder how we got in that mess? Because we disregard the little signs. The little signs are ridiculously big signs if you want to be real. But anyway, so a couple of things I just kind of, put on the rug and say, I don't need that one. So I was going through my dance, because that's where it was. Amen. I saw one too many one day. And I said, maybe you and I should back up and let's not get so close yet, because I'm still dealing with the pain of the last relationship. And I really need some time to get it together. You know what I mean? We need a little space, because you're crowding my space. You're getting a little too close, and now you're dominating my time. And now I'm almost borderline kind of sort of scared of you. Because I'm not sure how you're really going to treat me in the long run. So I back up and says, okay. you know, I always take her out when I get back and celebrate. And, you know, y'all don't know this, but I'll share this because y'all my friends. We go way back. I would come back after being on the road and somebody said, "Mom, you ain't gonna believe who I was with this week." You know, of course, the public has to act like that's normal. Come from Mississippi, I don't see these stars every day. Come on, let's stop. I was looking at them, of course, I was just as famous as they were in my mind. While I'm next to them, but when I go home, they're like, "Mom, you're not gonna believe who I was with this week." But I'm good. So, we went out when I got back. I said, "Mom, let's go to this jazz club." We did. We went to the jazz club and we had a ball. I mean, we partied like it was 1999. I mean, me and my mom on the dance floor together, and wasn't nobody out there but us, that kind of thing. So we stayed out till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So she brings me home, and she's got to go get ready for church next morning. This was on a Saturday night. Never forget this. So she brings me home. We sit in the car and talk a little bit, you know, just chat. "Baby, mom miss you," you know, giving me the whole little spiel. I said, "I miss you too." Amen. You know, we just chat. So I reach over to her, my mom, kiss her like we normally do. Now, my car is not working at the time. And what I tell you, you got to remember the story. What I tell you, the phone was off. I had 2 more days, right? Before they come out there and fix it. So the phone was off. So I'm cool, because she didn't live far. She just lived down the street. So we say our goodbyes. I'm lined up with my key in. You know how mamas do. They wait to make sure their babies get in done. So she waited right there until I closed the door. So I go in. Lights on, though. Praise the Lord. So I close the door and I'm way by the window. "Bye, Mom. You know, love you." Cut the light off. I'm going up the steps. When I say I promise you, I get to step number 5 and I hear, boom! I stop in my track with that. If I turn around, this might not go good. But if I keep going, I'll be pinned up in here and can't get out. I'm thinking all this in a split second. I turn around. That same dude that was so nice and accepted my goodbye had kicked my door in. He had been waiting in a tree across the street. He wanted to know who the Negro was. I'm going to use that word. That ain't what he said. Who's the Negro that just put you out in front of your house that you broke up with me for? I said, "That was my father." "Did you just kick my door in?" You know, I'm standing on some other right now. That's an apartment. I got to pay for that. Now I'm bad on GB. I came from Mississippi too. I got problems. And kicked my door in. What is wrong with you? Before I knew it, y'all, he had grabbed my neck, drugged me down the steps, and pinned me up against that wall. You hear me? I'm dangling by my shoes with my shoes hanging. I mean, I got been up in the air like that by one hand. So he got me up in the air on the wall, and he just yelling and cussing at me. And I'm sitting there the whole time going, "Wow, this fool is crazy. I'm about to die right now." Because he had his hand back, and he said, "I don't know what's keeping me from killing you." And you know, me and my silly self, I said, "Me either, but thank God." But I'm standing there, you know, trying to, thinking I'm going to make him laugh or something. And he's angry. Y'all, the rage is in his face. Have you ever seen a man when he's mad? A real angry man? So when I realized this ain't no joke right here, he goes in his pocket and he takes out this gun, this knife that I've never seen something so big in my life. And he puts it up against my neck. He says, "Now, tell me that statement again." Y'all, now I realize this is more than real. I go, wow. My whole life is about to be gone in an instant. So I say nothing. I choose to say nothing because I don't know what's right and I don't know what's wrong. So I sit there while he's still choking me to pieces, and I'm up against the wall and I'm going, "Lord, if you just get me out of this one. I promise you I will listen from this point on because you told me not to even go out the first date. But I didn't listen to you because I thought that was me." Y'all know how we do? It's gotta be me. He's a nice guy. So as he's standing there, probably turning 3 shades of purple at this point, he says to me, "Do you know that I've killed before?" Ooh. Not exactly, but had they told me that, I promise you I wouldn't have been on your list today. But thank you for the information, amen? So as he's telling me this, I'm going, in my mind, I'm going, "Do you mean to tell me that right before you take me out?" That ain't exactly a pleasant goodbye kiss. Kiss me first, do something. He said, "Do you know that I've killed before and gotten away with it?" Jesus. I said, "Father, if you ever even kind of love me, can you please help me?" help me right now. I mean, I'm praying prayers I ain't never prayed in my life before at this point. He said, what you need to know is don't nobody cross me. I was a Navy SEAL. I'm trained to kill and get away with it. Those were his words to me. So, of course, I don't know what to say. So, in the midst of all of that, I just stand there and I said, well, then you know what? I guess today is my day because I can't fight you. You big as an ox. Ain't no need me even swinging at you because that's going to cost me 2-3 limbs. At least if I go, let me go with everything it came with. You know what I'm saying? Don't laugh at that. That ain't fun. But my thought process was just do it. Just let me, you know, you brace yourself in situations like this and you kind of, okay, now. You know, that's what I was feeling like. Just do it. And he's looking at me crazy. And I open my eyes and go, he says, are you seriously bracing yourself for this? Literally, we're having a conversation. I said, let me tell you something. What I'm not going to do is fight with something I can't fight with. If you're this angry, there's nothing I can do about it. If you're going to kill me, you're going to do it anyway. I just got to go on and get ready because this is all I got. Me. You knew that when you started dating. So long story short, he backs up, he sits on the couch, and I start praying, Lord, give me some kind of tactic right now. So the way I got out of it, you're not going to believe this. It's really ridiculous, but I started acting crazy. I said, go on and take me out. I hate living anyway. I hate my life. I hate you. I hate me. I hate my mama. I hate my dad. I just started acting real crazy. I said, so if you're going to do it, I took the knife. I said, do it. Just do it. You know, just do it. I was just screaming at him. Now he's getting scared. He said, flim farm, you crazy. I don't want to date no foolish, crazy fool like you. He started going up on me and we had him. No, I don't want to live no more anyway. I took the knife and I'm just, you know, and I'm saying, God, please don't let this knife cut me while I'm playing. I said, come on, just do it. I'm getting, and he's sitting there going, you are crazy, you know. Yeah, we can figure. Y'all can figure that out. Yeah. So he started snatching his coat and stuff. He said, I don't care if I never see you no more. I said, no, I need you though. Come back with me, I need you, boy. So long story short, he gets his things and he leaves. And I sat in the middle of my floor, bawling. I don't mean crying, I mean bawling. Screaming to God, why would you let me go through that? Why did you let me? Why did you? And he said, I didn't. I said no when you asked. I said no when you came to me to see if it was all right to go on the first date. I said no, but you didn't listen. I didn't let none of that happen to you. I gave you choice. I'll never take your choice. I'll always be there for you. And I'll always answer your questions like you asked me to, but you got to be willing to move when I say move. You got to be willing to do what I say do. You got to be willing to walk away from what I say walk away from. You got to be willing to lose to gain. Go down to go up. Go back to go forward. You got to do it my way if we're going to do this dance together. But if you want to dance on your own, I'm going to allow you that because I gave you free will. So the message in all of this that I say to everybody when I go to speak to people in these situations, and I reference my past because the one last thing I said that was my last story. Well, this is the last one for real, I promise. The last story that really shakes me up is there was one aunt in my family who had been married longer than anybody. I admired her like crazy. When I finally got together and started dating again, I began to realize it's not their fault. They can't pay for what this one did, but I can take it slow. And I can let God advise me for real as I go through it. There's a difference, you guys. You can't ask God, Lord, I'm going to move in faith. I just believe you allow this. If it ain't you, then let me know, but I'm going to move forward. I learned to pray and wait. You can't pray and move. You got to pray and wait. Because if God says no and you've already moved ahead, you can't blame him for that. If they say 12 o'clock is the final hour and God don't get touched till 3, it's over. Because he's God all by himself. Amen. God ain't never late. It can be 3 and be shut down and God can walk in and say, okay, everybody get on in here, now it's time for the party to begin. It's all up to him. So you never get impatient to do some things that could prevent you some pain in your life that's unnecessary. Be willing to take a step back and wait. Because he's coming. If you do it right, he went before you anyway like he's supposed to, so you won't miss a beat. Long story short, I get married and I get excited. We go home. That one aunt that I had admired all my life, I had admired her. That one aunt, I ran into her. She was out of her house. She was cooking. I said, Auntie, I couldn't wait to get in. You know, now girl, I was married. She looked at me and said, really, you excited about that? Wait, that ain't the response I'm expecting. You've been married 42 years. You excited for that? You know, the rest of these haters, they don't know. He cute too. I was wondering all that. She said, yeah, I understand. My husband cute too. And he's beat me every day since we've been married. Wow. Don't get that excited until you meet him for real. She started telling me her whole story. This is the woman I used to see. I ain't never seen the fight. This is the one that had the baddest clothes in the room. This is the one that drove the finest car. I never understood. I would have never thought. She breaks down and she starts telling me the whole story. He's beat me since we were dating. But I thought that I didn't have another opportunity to get somebody greater. He was the finest of the wine, and he was the more eloquent with his speech. He was the more educated. He had the baddest cars, and he was the one at the top of the class. I needed him because I was very insecure. I had a lot of things that he used to build me up when I felt like I was down. So he was the man that I could lean on. I needed him. Needed? Wow. That means you've been incomplete a long time, Auntie. She said, you're absolutely right. I hate him. I hate that man in that other room. He had an accident. He had 3 strokes, and he had an accident, and she was waiting on him hand and foot. Y'all see that movie Tyler had? That was exactly my aunt's story, but nobody knew but her. My aunt had contemplated killing him because she was tired. I had no idea. So, of course, now my little story that I run in there with has now become a new story. I'm broke down, depressed. I'm ready to leave Mississippi because I did not come for this. I thought she was going to be so proud of me. I finally found, and mind you, I got a great one. Thank the Lord. He's never raised his hand or his voice. Of course, now I've kicked in a few doors when he's ignored me. But you just ain't going to ignore me now. But he's great. But the moral of that story was, we're walking amongst each other right now and don't know. We carry it to sleep. We carry it to work. We'll sit with our girlfriends and give them advice about their story, and ours is worse than theirs. We have to stop. It's time to change the process. The process is dictated by the processors. We have the ability to take it by the horns and change it. Girl, what are you going through? I'm coming to pick you up today. You know, in our gut, y'all, we know when our girlfriend needs us. Come on now. That's right. Sometimes we're just too busy. I got 2 girlfriends dead because we were too busy. Too busy to realize they were depressed and needed to talk to somebody and couldn't wait one more day. So today I challenge you to stop turning a deaf ear. Whether it's in the workplace, whether it's at home, find a way to lean over to the one that God gives you the unction about. The one that God tells you, just say this. Because sometimes God will tell you something to say that to you is very minuscule, very minor, and you're wondering, why would I say that? And they'll end up telling you their whole story standing in this copy machine. And because they don't know you, they have nothing to lose. Take them under your arm and say, well, look here. You can come stay at my house till we figure it out. Now, my clothes will be 3 sizes too big, but we got a few pins in the room. We can put some belts around and keep it moving. Don't let her go back to the situation, because that may be her last time going back. I challenge you to tell the bosses in the workplaces and tell the people out here that we got to change this, because we're dying at rapid rates from just domestic violence. We wouldn't even talk about the drugs and the murders and the when you kill yourself. What's that word? That's the word we're talking about. We won't even talk about that. Let's just talk about domestic violence. And it's costing. Personally, I'm a little ticked about it. $727 million. That means some of my taxes is going to do some stuff I didn't see. I didn't put it on the schedule. And you didn't either. So I challenge you to change it. Let's make a difference. If you don't have God in your life, get him quick, because it's going to take God to move this thing around. You're going to have to have Jesus at the helm of this thing. So if you don't know God, I challenge you today to don't leave here until you find him. Secondly, I challenge you to open your mouth. No longer do you stand in the mall, you see this joker in the corner, beating this girl in the head, and you allow it. My children think I'm just over the top. I say anything to anybody. Baby, are you hitting her? I walk up to them. Now, I know that that's dangerous because some of them kind of crazy. Well, I'm crazy too. See, now that my little technique works, what? They're going to pick you up now. You don't know me. What do you say? I will get with you today. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got God on my side. Me plus God is the majority. That means my army is tougher than yours. They didn't give a day a week, baby. What? You got a million, I got a million here. I'm ready, let's go. I did come from Mississippi. I still got some ghetto, but I can be bougie today. So I challenge you to get it to work, y'all. We got nobody but each other. And if we don't start acting like we care about each other and we're going to make a change, we're going to continue to suffer the consequences. Consequences delay us getting to our blessing. It's unnecessary. God has actually laid the roadmap out. We've done the detouring. See, we've been, and this is I'm driving home now. When Peter was in the boat, and God was crossing there, he said, Lord, if it's you, bid me to come. What did the Lord say? Keep your eyes stayed on me, Peter, come on. Come on, cross the water. I know Peter had to do one of these numbers, but Jesus ain't no boys under here, ain't no rocks. Lord, is you serious? Is you know, we'll work that out later. I did graduate. But, so I know he's saying, Lord, when I look, it's real deep too, Jesus. And it's probably real cold because ain't no heaters out here. And Lord said, just keep your eyes on me, come on. And Peter said, okay, God, I'm going to take a couple of steps, but this just doesn't feel right. Now imagine God telling you to walk across water that you know is unheard of. How in the world are we going to walk across with nothing? Okay, so Peter starts to tell God I'm coming. So he keeps his eyes on him, he's going. He gets across there, the deep part, and then he looks down, he says, oh, Lord, I'm sinking. Think about it now. I'm sinking. And the Lord said, grab my hand. And Peter grabbed his hand. The moral to that story is, if you walk all the way across and you're close enough for God to just reach down and grab your hand, you've made it. So in this instance, we got to be willing to pull somebody along and tell them, keep your eyes on me, I got you. We might shake a little bit. We might have a little bit of tightening going on, but I got you. Just keep your eyes on me. Because as long as we keep our eyes on God, we're going to make it. So you have to pull that person in. Not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing where it's going to be later, not knowing if this is going to work, not knowing if that fool is going to show up at your house. I wish he would show up at mine. Sir, that's not premeditated. I'm just letting you know, you don't do that though. I'm pulling your tail in so you inside the house. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you don't want this side. Oh, that is good business. Amen. And amen again. So I'm just saying that you guys, it's time out for what we've been accepting. We're better than that. And we can do greater things with all of our parts working. We don't need to lose an appendage unnecessarily. We're all appendages in this whole field of what God built us to be, this machine, this human that's supposed to do some great things. And we need every one of us to make that happen. We don't want to lose them early, and we don't want to make any mistake about it. We know that somebody somewhere is going through exactly what we're talking about today, and it's our responsibility to make a change. If you never see me again, and if this is the last thing you hear me say, with God, all things are possible. Amen. So if you're the one that has to be that voice for somebody who can't say it, then be that. I love each and every one of you, and I hope to see you again soon.